Hello everyone, this is Phil from Dancing Dragon Games with another tutorial video from Symphony of War: The Nephilim Saga. Today we're going to talk about the tech tree, and we will go into the high level and also great detail. So if you're only looking for the high altitude overview of the tech and how it works, then just the first couple of minutes should be just fine. So in our home base sequence, we have the tech tree option. If we go into it now, the first thing I want you to pay attention to right here is the tech points. I went ahead and cheated myself 120 tech points, which is more than I'm going to need. You'll never have that many. You'll always be spending whatever you have if you're smart. And all of you are so smart and lovely because you're here supporting our game and our project, and it means the world to me. There's three trees. We have Academy of War, Tactics and Command, Crafts and Technology. Generally speaking, Academy of War focuses on growths, so combat experience and class experience growth, which is going to be kind of this line here. Recruiting to enhancements to your new conscripts and mercenaries. It focuses on mages and magic, and so reducing the amount of charge time, for example. Cavalry bonuses, dragon bonuses, kind of a mishmash in Academy of War. In Tactics of Command, we've got different types of attacks, bonuses to charge attacks, bonuses to class bonuses like cavalry, anti-cavalry, polearm bonuses, making archers light squads, etc., etc. And in Crafts and Technology, a lot more straightforward here. We have direct upgrades to your stats, so better armor, better weapons, can equip more artifacts, and the big thing with Crafts Technology is this is how you unlock the firearms, gunner, dragoon, and cannon classes. In each one of these, you'll see the cost in tech points. Tier 1 is 1 tech point, Tier 2 is 2 tech points, Tier 3 is 3 tech points, and Tier 4, which is going to be our capstones, meaning you have to unlock all of the Crafts and Technology to get the Crafts Technology capstone, which is this one, costs 4. We also have dual capstones, which are in between. So musketeering here requires all of the technologies in both Tactics and Command and Crafts and Technology. So these are very late game powerful technologies. They also cost 4. In order to unlock for more tiers, so right now all the first 3 tiers are unlocked. In order to unlock Tier 2 at the beginning of the game, you'll have to acquire 7 Tier 1 technologies. Now these numbers and also the technology details themselves are subject to change between here and launch. We are in early alpha at the moment, but it shouldn't change too much. Fundamentally, this is how it'll work and how most of the technologies will end up. So it's 7 Tier 1 techs to unlock Tier 2, and then it's the same amount of techs to unlock Tier 3, and then I believe it's either 4 or 5 Tier 3 to actually be able to see the capstones. So now I'm going to actually unlock a few technologies here. As you can see, my tech points are going down as I unlock more techs. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. So 4 Tier 3 technologies unlocks all the capstones. So now I can very, very quickly, I'm going to go into detail about each technology. So I'll try and be quick, but there's a lot of them. Starting with Academy of War. We've got Spellweaver, simple stat upgrade for magicians and support to get better skill. Skill helps you with evasion. Mentorship, non-leader units and squads now gain leader demonstrates. So this will help your followers in your squads gain leadership stat in case you want to train them up to be future leaders. Very important, very important. Merchant Envoys enhances your ability to recruit more mercenaries and get more items available in the shop. Standing Army increases the starting level of your new conscripts and gives them half class mastery in their starting class. Battle Medics will simply give you a buff to the max HP of all your support classes, important to keep your healers alive. Army Stables unlocks the charge attack mechanic. If you move 7 tiles, all melee cavalry will stun the enemy on the first turn. Mixed Unit Tactics. I gotta say, this is kind of a must-have early on. I usually get this first. Squads gain 10 max HP for each, how diverse your squad is. So if you have light infantry, archer, heavy infantry, magician, support, all those in one squad, you increase everyone's max HP by 10. Identify command structure. This is the first of the 3 tactics technologies. Now you have the ability to do the target leader attack type, which is nice because killing their leader hurts their morale greatly. Psychic Warfare Forced Surrender inflicts additional morale damage. So in the event you don't actually get all of them to surrender, you will very much hurt the morale for the next chance. Zones of Control, so infantry tiles will actually reduce the enemy movement if you have this technology to basically act as kind of a pseudo wall. Continuing on to Craft Technology Tier 1, you've got Adept Artificer. This simply allows you to equip 2 artifacts instead of 1, which is what you start off with. This Crossbow Forging unlocks the Crossbow class, which is similar to the Archer, but it depends on the weapon power rather than the strength stat. And Adept Metallurgy is the first of the the materials tree. It grants your heavy troops 25 max HP. This grants your heavy troops plus 5 armor, steel forging, and Journeyman Leathercraft grants all of your light infantry, light cavalry, archery, and firearms 5 armor. Tier 2, we have Academy of War Dragon Trainer. This will get your dragons, drakelings, leveling up their CP and XP faster. And that's how they actually class change. Dragons are a little bit different than the human classes. CP is how you get them to upgrade classes from the baby dragon to the adult dragon to the various specializations of dragon. Martial Traditions, all classes gain class mastery 10% faster. Very, this is like so important. You want to get this one, just regardless of whatever you're doing, to get that CP, so you can upgrade class tree faster. Warhorse Husbandry, simple stat upgrade for all cavalry. It includes cavalry support classes and as such. 50 max HP, which is pretty big, pretty chunky. Sisterhood of Justice. Acolytes, Paladins, Valkyries, and Exemplar receive an additional bonus to magic. So they do have a slight starting bonus to magic defense, but this enhances that greatly. And then Sisterhood of Mercy, this is a medics. All support classes will take 50% less damage when there is a Paladin or a Valkyrie in the same squad. So that's super nice if you're, mixing the two holy orders of your support classes. Strategic Maneuvers, really nice that it decreases the amount of tiles you need from 7 to 6 in order to pull off a charge attack. Polearm Mastery grants an additional bonus to polearm troops that are standing side by side in kind of a phalanx formation. Adaptive Battlefield Command unlocks the aggressive and cautious attack types, which I talk about in another video. Popular Support. Squads gain morale bonus within 3 tiles of a base, village, or town. So any settlement gives you a morale boost with Popular Support. Super awesome. Advanced Archery Technique. So in terms of targeting, your long-range archery attacks will just kind of carpet bomb the enemy. This will have you focus on maximizing the amount of damage you can do. So if you want to hit healers or enemy archers, rather than hitting tanks, which will not do much damage, then this will give you that advantage. Journeyman Artificer, very simple. You can now equip all 3 of your artifact slots, which is the max slots. Advanced Crossbows. This simply enhances the amount of bonus damage you get against heavy troops, giving crossbowmen and rangers a little bit more of an identity. Advanced Materials Science, got a hefty 2,000 gold cost here, but this is how you unlock the Firearms branch eventually, and it gives an additional max HP to heavy troops. Obsidian Forging is simply an upgrade on Steel Forging, another 5 armor for a cumulative of 10 plus for heavy troops, and the same thing here with Behemoth Leather Armor for a cumulative of 10 plus to light troops. Now we're in Tier 3, back to Academy, we've got Mage Regiments. Again, really, really good tech here. This whole tree is just essential in any playthrough. All Magician and Support classes now start as the normal troop type rather than slow. So if you notice, you actually start with one squad, a Sibyl's squad, that has a Support and a Magician and then 2 heavy infantry. That means that squad is slow, so they can move 1 fewer movement points, usually 1 fewer tile movement. That's just because your Magician support classes, not physically adept as your warrior classes, so they're not moving as fast. This one gets them all trained up so they can move just as fast, so that does not slow your troops down. Super awesome technology to have. And also, your Magician's attacks decay. Normally, if they repeat in the same player phase, this will slow down that decay. Magician's Initiative, spells that have a charge up turn can now be cast in the first turn. If you're running mages, this is a must-have, because the first turn you're doing a charge attack. Usually Magician's attacks are very strong and they hit past tanks and they go through armor, so having them pop off on the first turn can be devastating. Hex Mastery, so Magician and Dragon Breath attacks, so meaning your ice and lightning They will inflict status effects like slow or stun or daze, which will decrease enemy attack power, will increase the chance that this lands. And then Spirit Piercing, well, you will ignore with all magic and Dragon Breath attacks 25% of the enemy's magic stat, which is how you defend. Into Tier 3 Tactics Command, we have Advanced Mobile Warfare. Very specific technology, but can be very powerful. Dragoons, which is the mobile gunner, the horse gunner, is now the light cavalry attack type. So that means that he can ambush and he can move a little bit faster, and that makes them absolutely deadly when in mass. Advanced Flaking. This can be super powerful. 15 plus attack power when engaging in melees with each of our squads or allied squads that is adjacent to the... So if you're surrounding enemies and then you pop off with another melee attack, you can potentially have up to 45% of an attack power bonus doing this. And then Optimized Targeting improves the method by which our troops select targets, greatly increasing. So this is... actually, we had a smarter player attack AI early on. Now we made it a little less brilliant in terms of knowing exactly who to attack and how to maximize the damage. This technology actually brings you back to that smarter AI. So this will probably the most powerful tech other than capstones in the game. Supply Chain Mastery. Villages, towns, castles, and bases now provide healing to our squads every turn. Size of the aura is 1 for villages, 2 for towns, and 3 for bases. So if you're sitting on one of your settlements or bases, this will actually give you some passive healing. Archery General, so all archery classes are now the light troop type. Huge technology. So, I mean, archery is such a ubiquitous, they're all over the place. This makes them light troops, so that means they can ambush. Master Artificer, all artifacts cost -1 capacity. If you're truly playing a min-max playthrough, you are definitely focusing on artifacts, which do cost capacity, in addition to how your troops cost capacity. This makes it so that all of them cost -1. And a lot of the artifacts only do cost 1, so this makes most of them free. Grape Shot. Artillery attacks do double splash damage. So your cannons will be doing area effect damage with a somewhat weak splash damage to start. This will make the splash damage much more powerful. Gunsmithing. So this is the big one that unlocks your firearms. This simply allows you to unlock the Gunner, Dragoon, and Siege Cannon classes. Breech Loading Gun. So normally when you are having a storm or a blizzard, then your gunnery troops are unable to fire in those weather effects, which is a big want when that happens, but this will actually prevent you from having that debuff. Academy of War Capstone. So now we're in the capstones. Again, you have to have all of these unlocked to get the capstone. Now, a lot of people will look at, you got direct upgrades, you got different attack types. Academy of War is a little bit niche, right? This is the reason why Academy of War is, I think, probably the best. I say that as the lead dev, you can do whatever you want. You can't go wrong, but professionalism is absolutely amazing. New conscripts start with, I can't say that word, conscripts start with the mastery of all available Tier 1 classes. So that means any of the conscripts that you recruit in the home base will have fighter, militia, medic, and archer, or bowman, completely maxed out in CP right away, right off the bat. It's like you don't even have to train them up. And so it's almost like they're mercenaries, but they're not. They're cheap and just fresh right out of the gate, ready for Tier 2. So you can upgrade them right away. They start with +5 levels, so normally conscripts start with quite a bit lower level than the rest of your army, but this gets them right up to snuff, and with full loyalty to your cause. That is huge. Huge, huge. I cannot emphasize how huge that is. Loyalty can either be neutral, or you can have less loyalty to cost more capacity. So mercenaries start with the lowest loyalty, which makes them cost more. If you have full loyalty, then instead of costing 10 capacity, you only cost 8, because you just are more willing to fight for the player's cause. So every conscript starts with full loyalty with this tech. It's awesome. Eliminates the increased mercenaries. So with this tech, you also get no more penalty for recruiting mercenaries. So they start with 10 instead of 12. So I don't know. I think, especially if you're doing a hardcore run when you do have permadeath and you're doing a lot of recruiting, beeline it to professionalism, because this is just probably the best, most powerful tech in the entire tree. Late game, yeah, you probably don't need me to do much recruiting, so You kind of play it however you want. Dragon Bond. No, let's talk about the single capstones first. So the single capstone for Tax and Command, I mean, this is straight away just absolutely devastating, huge. All squads in the army gain plus 10 capacity limit. So normally your capacity is just exactly what your leader's leadership stat is. So it's 50 leader for the leader. 50 leadership on your squad leader will give you 50 capacity. This now gives you 60. So it's so simple but so powerful. And then our single capstone for crafts and technology, everything that normally costs you iron and obsidian now costs 1 less, and it will actually refund everything that you have previously allocated. So you'll get a big payoff of the two most commonly used resources, iron and obsidian. And obsidian especially, if you get a lot of obsidian, then you can upgrade tons and tons of really powerful tier 3 melee troops like assassins, warbows, champions, etc. And those are some very, very powerful melee classes. So iron is used in almost everything. So this is really nice to have. I think especially late game as your armies get larger in size, then you have more resources to play around with. Dual capstone time, so we have Dragon Bond, so you have to max both Academy of War and Tactics Command to get the ultimate troop type, the Dragon Rider. So dragons normally upgrade all the way to tier 3, where they're still they're still ground bound. Powerful as they are, this will send them up into the sky, and if the majority of your squad is Dragon Riders, they will be flying, which means they bypass terrain. They're basically like B-52s. They're unstoppable. And we have another dual capstone here, musketeering. We're talking about dual capstones here, so they should be pretty huge. Advanced fire techniques grants our firearms an additional attack when on offense. So normally firearms, they're still very powerful, but they only do 1 attack on offense and defense. With this technology, on offense, they do 2 attacks. So massed firearms with this technology, say goodnight. Nothing is going to survive that. Like 6 shots, boom on volley 1. Another 6 shots, boom on volley 2. You are donezo. Nothing can stand up to that. And finally, we have rifled artillery. So if you've got a lot of siege cannons, this is pretty huge. That means that they have a natural range of 3, and on high ground, 4. So you are doing heavy bombardment from way, way far away with this one. Okay, guys, again, these are subject to change because right now we're still in early alpha kind of demo stage, but most likely it would be numerical tweaks and not anything fundamental about how technologies work. And that will do it for our technology video. Please do make sure you are spending your tech points at every possible turn. You will not regret it. Thanks for listening. Take care.